She texted, "He's just a work friend. Stop being toxic." Then she went to his cabin for the weekend. I packed her apartment up, changed the locks, and texted her dad, "She's your problem now." The voicemails she left me were music to my ears. All right, Reddit, buckle up because this story has everything: gaslighting, a cabin weekend that wasn't what she thought it was, and the most satisfying revenge I've ever pulled off. My buddy convinced me to post this because apparently I handled it like a pro, so here we go. I'm 29, work as a logistics coordinator for a medical supply company here in Michigan. Decent pay, good benefits, the kind of job that lets me afford my own place and actually save money. I bought a duplex 3 years ago when the market dipped. Live in one unit, rent out the other. Smart investment, gives me extra income, and yeah, I'm that guy who actually reads his mortgage statements and tracks his credit score. The duplex was this 1960s brick building in a quiet neighborhood. Nothing fancy but solid construction. Previous owner was some elderly couple who'd maintained it like it was a historic landmark. I spent my first 6 months repainting every room, updating all the light fixtures to LED, and installing a comprehensive security system with cameras at both entrances because why not? The rental unit brought in $1,200 a month like clockwork, and my mortgage was only $1,850. Math worked out perfectly. Had enough left over to max out my retirement contributions and still save an extra $500 monthly. Being financially stable at 29 felt like winning the lottery, especially when most people my age were drowning in student loans or splitting rent with 3 roommates. I drive a 2019 Ford Explorer that I bought certified pre-owned with only 32,000 miles on it. Keep it detailed monthly at this place that does ceramic coating, and actually follow the maintenance schedule like it's a religious text. Every 5,000 miles like clockwork. Oil change, tire rotation, fluid checks. My garage has labeled storage bins for tools organized by type and frequency of use, seasonal stuff sorted by category and clearly marked, and a workbench I built myself from plans I downloaded and modified to fit my space perfectly. Pegboard on the wall with every tool outlined in marker, so I know exactly where it goes. I'm not saying I'm obsessive, but I definitely know where everything is at all times, and can find any tool within 30 seconds, in the dark if necessary. After a couple years of casual dating that went nowhere, I met Natalie through mutual friends at a 4th of July cookout in 2023. She was 26, worked as a dental hygienist, had this bubbly personality that made everyone around her smile. When she laughed, she'd throw her whole head back like she was in some rom-com. Thought it was cute. The cookout was at Liam's place. Typical summer party with burgers and people standing around the grill talking about nothing important. Natalie showed up with her coworker, both of them in sundresses and sunglasses, looking like they'd stepped out of some summer lifestyle magazine. We ended up talking for 3 hours straight about everything from our terrible high school experiences to our current jobs to whether hot dogs counted as sandwiches. We hit it off immediately. She appreciated that I had my life together, wasn't living with roommates like half the guys our age, and could actually cook something besides ramen. First date was dinner at this Italian place downtown, then a walk along the riverfront. She asked about the duplex, seemed genuinely impressed that I owned property at 29, asked smart questions about rental income and property maintenance, not just surface-level stuff. Second date I cooked for her at my place. Made chicken parmesan from scratch, had candles on the table, the whole setup. She walked in and immediately commented on how clean everything was, how organized my kitchen looked, how it was refreshing to date someone who didn't live like a college freshman. Within a month, we were seeing each other 3 or 4 times a week. She'd come over after work and we'd make dinner together, watch shows, just normal couple stuff. It felt easy, natural, like we'd known each other way longer than we actually had. 6 months in, her lease was ending and she was complaining about her apartment complex raising rent by $300. I offered to let her move into my place. Not the rental unit, my actual place. Figured we were serious enough and it made financial sense for both of us. She could save money, I'd have company, win-win situation. She moved in February 2024 with 2 carloads of stuff and about 40 throw pillows that immediately took over my couch. Started rearranging my kitchen cabinets to make more sense and bought this ridiculous amount of candles that made my living room smell like a Bath and Body Works exploded. But whatever. That's relationships, right? You compromise. The first few months were solid. She'd cook breakfast on weekends. I'd handle yard work and repairs. We split groceries and utilities down the middle, even though technically she didn't pay rent. Just felt fair. She'd hang out while I worked on house projects. We'd hit up farmers markets on Sundays. Standard domestic life stuff. Her job at the dental office was pretty straightforward according to her. She worked Monday through Thursday, 10-hour shifts, had Fridays off, came home with stories about difficult patients, office drama with the receptionist, the usual workplace nonsense. I'd listen while making dinner, throw in appropriate reactions, basic supportive boyfriend stuff. Then around June, she started mentioning Blake. At first, it was innocent. Blake from work thinks we should upgrade our scheduling software. Or, Blake suggested this new sterilization protocol that's way more efficient. Blake this, Blake that. I didn't think much of it. People talk about coworkers, happens in every job. Blake apparently was the office manager at her dental practice. 32, recently moved from somewhere out west, seemed to have opinions about everything. According to Natalie, he was making all these changes to improve efficiency, and the dentists loved him. He's really good at seeing problems nobody else notices, she told me one evening while scrolling her phone. Like today, he figured out we were wasting 3 hours a week on redundant paperwork. Just eliminated the whole process. Sounds like a go-getter, I said, focused on the expense reports I was reviewing for work. He is. It's actually refreshing to work with someone who cares about making things better, instead of just coasting. Cool, whatever. I work with plenty of competent people too. Didn't mean I needed to give a full performance review at dinner. But then the Blake mentions increased. She'd come home and immediately launch into some story about how Blake reorganized the supply closet, or Blake figured out a better break room rotation, or Blake made everyone laugh with some joke during the staff meeting. You talk about this dude more than you talk about actual work, I finally said one night in July. She looked up from her phone, defensive immediately. What's that supposed to mean? Just an observation. Blake seems to be the main character in every story you tell. He's my coworker, Sam. We work together 9 hours a day. Of course I'm going to mention him. Right, but you never used to talk about your coworkers this much. That's because nothing interesting ever happened before Blake started making changes. She went back to her phone. You're being weird about this. I dropped it. Wasn't worth the argument. But something in my gut said to pay attention. Early August was when her behavior started changing in ways I couldn't ignore. She'd come home and immediately disappear into the bathroom for 30 minutes. Not normal bathroom stuff. Full makeup removal and reapplication, changing clothes, the whole production. When I asked why she was getting dolled up at 7 p.m. when we were just hanging out at home, she'd say she wanted to feel good for herself. Her phone was suddenly password protected. Before, she'd leave it sitting around wherever, didn't matter. Now it was glued to her hand, face down on tables, taken into the bathroom during showers. When it buzzed with notifications, she'd snatch it up like it was about to explode. Who keeps texting you? I asked one night, when her phone went off for the 5th time during dinner. Just work stuff, she said without looking up, fingers flying across the screen. At 8 p.m., Blake's trying to finalize the schedule for next month. He wants everyone's input. Can't that wait until tomorrow when you're actually at work? She sighed like I was being unreasonable. Some of us care about doing our jobs well, Sam. Not everything fits into neat 9-to-5 boxes. That stung, but I let it slide. The weekend trips started mid-August. Some people from work are doing a girls' day on Saturday, she announced on a Thursday evening. Hitting up that new outlet mall, then dinner. I'll probably be gone most of the day. Sounds fun. Which coworkers? Just the girls from the office. You don't know them. Seemed legit. She left Saturday morning in leggings and a nice top, came back at 9 p.m. with 0 shopping bags, and a story about how they just walked around and didn't find anything worth buying. The following weekend, the office is doing a team-building thing on Sunday. Probably brunch, and then maybe a museum or something. She left Sunday at 10 a.m., got back at 7 p.m., no photos, no souvenirs, barely any details when I asked how it went. It was fine. Kind of boring, actually. The museum was doing renovations, so half of it was closed. Which museum? The art one downtown. The DIA? Yeah, that one. The Detroit Institute of Arts wasn't doing any renovations. I'd literally been there 2 weeks prior, but I didn't call her out. Not yet. The gym membership came next. I'm thinking about getting back in shape, she announced in early September. There's that nice gym near the office. Blake says they have great equipment. Of course Blake says so. She signed up for a membership and suddenly had evening workout sessions 3 times a week. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday nights, she'd come home at 8:30 p.m. instead of her normal 6:15 p.m. Hair perfectly dry, makeup still intact, wearing the same work clothes she'd left in. How was the gym? Good. Really pushed myself today. You're not sweaty, though. I showered there, Sam. They have nice facilities. In your work clothes? I brought a change of clothes. Is this an interrogation? Every time I asked a reasonable question, I was being controlling or suspicious or jealous. Started feeling like I was losing my mind. The Blake mentions continued escalating. How Blake thought she should travel more. How Blake said she was too talented to be stuck in this town. How Blake believed people should live adventurously instead of playing it safe. What exactly does Blake know about your life goals? I asked one night. We talk, Sam. That's what adults do. They have conversations about life and aspirations. And he thinks you're wasting your life here. He thinks I could do more with my potential, yeah. Is that a crime? Sounds like he's trying to make you dissatisfied with what you have. She rolled her eyes hard enough to see her brain. You're being insecure. Blake is just a friend. A work friend. Stop being toxic about it. There it was. Toxic. The magic word that's supposed to make me shut up and stop asking questions. I work in logistics. My entire job is pattern recognition, seeing where things don't line up, fixing problems before they become disasters. And every pattern I was seeing pointed to the same conclusion, but according to Natalie, noticing patterns made me toxic. The cabin announcement came on September 18th. She walked in after the gym and dropped her bag by the door, with this casual energy like she was about to mention we were out of milk. So Blake has this cabin up north, like 2 hours away, and he's invited a bunch of us from work to spend the weekend there. It's supposed to be gorgeous this time of year. I'm thinking I'll go. I looked up from my laptop. Who's going? Just some people from the office. It'll be fun, like a little retreat. Which people specifically? I don't know. Whoever wants to come. Blake sent a group text. Can I see the text? Her face hardened. Why? Don't you trust me? I'd just like to know who you're spending the weekend with. Sam, this is exactly the toxic behavior I'm talking about. You're acting like I need permission to hang out with my coworkers. I didn't say you needed permission. I asked a simple question. A question that implies you don't trust me, which is insulting. She grabbed her phone and her bag. I'm going to take a shower. And yes, I'm going to the cabin this weekend. I don't need your approval. She left for the bathroom before I could respond. I sat there for a minute, feeling that familiar sensation when you know something is wrong, but everyone is telling you you're crazy for seeing it. Then I did something I'm not particularly proud of, but don't really regret either. Natalie had this habit of leaving her work bag by the front door when she got home. I waited until I heard the shower running, walked over, and pulled out her phone. I'd watched her enter her password enough times to know it. 0524, her mom's birthday. Opened her messages and went straight to the thread with Blake. The texts were exactly what I expected, but somehow worse seeing them in writing. Weeks and weeks of flirting. Inside jokes about other coworkers. Him calling her beautiful. Her sending selfies from the bathroom at work with captions like, thinking about you. Messages about how I was suffocating, and she deserved someone who understood her creative soul. Him saying he couldn't wait to finally have you all to myself. One exchange from 2 weeks ago. Blake, your boyfriend sounds like he's got a stick up his rear end. All those rules and schedules. Natalie, he means well, but yeah, it's exhausting. Everything has to be planned 3 weeks in advance. Blake, life's too short for that. When are you going to ditch the safety net and take a real risk? Natalie, soon. Just need to figure out the logistics. Another from last week. Natalie, he's starting to ask questions about you, getting suspicious. Blake, so tell him the truth. Natalie, I can't just blow up my whole living situation. I need time. Blake, the cabin weekend, that'll be your answer. Either you show up and we see where this goes, or you stay stuck in your comfortable little prison. Natalie, I'll be there. Promise. The cabin weekend? It was just them. Nobody else invited. Just Blake and Natalie, alone in the woods for 3 days. The group text she'd mentioned never existed. She'd texted him literally 2 hours ago, right after the shower when she said she was going to relax. He's definitely going to be suspicious about the cabin, but I'll handle it. Can't wait to see you. Been thinking about Friday all week. His response, you're worth all the trouble. Going to make this weekend unforgettable. Bring that red dress you showed me. I took pictures of everything with my own phone. Every flirty text, every lie, every plan they'd made. Scrolled back 3 months and documented it all. Then I put her phone back exactly where I found it. Sat down on my couch and started making plans. Here's what most people don't understand about revenge. It's not about anger. Anger makes you sloppy, makes you do stupid things you regret later. Real revenge is cold, calculated, and executed with the same precision you'd use for any major project. I had 4 days before she left for the cabin. 4 days to plan everything perfectly. First priority, documentation. I went through every text conversation I could access, took screenshots of everything. Her admitting the gym was a lie, the fake girls' days, all of it. Backed everything up to 3 different places: cloud storage, external hard drive, and a USB drive I put in my safe. Second, logistics. The apartment was mine, bought and paid for before I ever met her. She'd never signed a lease, never paid rent, technically had no legal standing as a tenant since she'd been living there less than a year, and Michigan's tenant laws had specific requirements she didn't meet. I called a lawyer buddy just to confirm. Completely legal to remove her stuff with proper notice. Third, execution plan. She was leaving Friday morning for the cabin, supposedly coming back Sunday evening. That gave me Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to move her entire life out of my place without her having any idea. Thursday night was almost funny. She was packing her bag for the cabin, humming to herself, completely oblivious. "What time are you leaving tomorrow?" I asked from the couch. "Early, probably around 9 a.m. Blake's picking me up." "Of course he is." "Cool, have fun." She looked over, surprised. "You're not going to argue about it?" "Nope. You made your decision. I'm not going to be toxic about it." I smiled my most genuine smile. "You should definitely go have fun with your work friends." She actually looked disappointed that I wasn't fighting her. "Oh, okay then." That night I barely slept, but not because I was emotional. I was running through my checklist, making sure I hadn't missed anything. At 3 a.m. I was still awake, mentally inventorying every item of hers that needed to be moved. Friday morning, 8:47 a.m., I was drinking coffee at the kitchen table when she came out with her weekend bag. "You're up early," she said. "Couldn't sleep. Too much on my mind with work stuff." "Well, I'm heading out. I'll text you when I get there." "Drive safe." She leaned down for a kiss. I gave her a quick peck, nothing more. "Love you," she said at the door. "Yeah, you too." The door closed. I watched through the window as Blake's Jeep pulled up, watched her toss her bag in the back, watched her smile at him in a way she hadn't smiled at me in months. They drove off. I gave it 30 minutes just to make sure she didn't forget something and come back. Then I made 3 phone calls. Call 1. Liam, my best friend who owns a truck and has Fridays off. "Hey man, remember how you said if I ever needed help moving heavy stuff you'd be there? I'm cashing in that favor today." Call 2. My cousin Joel, who owns a moving company. "I need a crew for the weekend. Paying overtime rates. How many guys can you spare?" Call 3. A locksmith I'd already contacted earlier in the week. "Yeah, I need those locks changed today. Can you be here by 2 p.m.? By 10:30 a.m., I had 4 guys and 2 trucks in my driveway. By 11 a.m., we were inside, starting the systematic removal of every single item Natalie owned. I'd made a detailed inventory list the night before while she was sleeping, sitting at my kitchen table at 2 a.m. with a notepad, going room by room in my head. Every piece of clothing, every makeup product, every throw pillow, every candle, every kitchen gadget she'd bought, even the hair ties I kept finding everywhere. If she'd brought it into my house, it was getting removed. Nothing personal would be left behind to remind me she'd ever been here. Her clothes went into boxes labeled by category. Work clothes in wardrobe boxes so they wouldn't wrinkle, casual wear folded neatly, winter stuff in large bins, shoes individually wrapped in packing paper. Every bathroom product got its own box with proper padding so nothing would leak or break during transport. All her decorative nonsense got carefully wrapped in bubble wrap and packed with the fragile stickers I'd bought specifically for this. The throw pillows that had taken over my couch? Gone, every single one compressed into garbage bags. The candles that made my living room smell like a Bath and Body Works had exploded? All packed carefully with wicks protected. The ridiculous kitchen organization system she'd insisted on? Dismantled piece by piece and packed with notes about which drawer each item came from. Because even in revenge, I couldn't help being organized. Liam was having the time of his life. Dude, I can't believe how much stuff she accumulated. Where did she even store all this? She's been here 8 months. Apparently that's enough time to take over an entire house. We found stuff in places I didn't even know she'd claimed territory. Bathroom cabinet packed floor to ceiling with products I'd never seen her use. Closet shelf with 7 boxes of shoes still in their original packaging. Kitchen drawer full of random gadgets she bought off Instagram ads and used exactly once. Under the bathroom sink, I found 4 different hair straighteners, 3 curling wands, and enough makeup to stock a department store counter. "How many hair straighteners does one person need?" Joel asked, holding up 3 different flat irons like they were evidence in a criminal trial. "Apparently 3. Pack them all." "And what's this?" Liam pulled out some electronic facial steaming device still in the box. "She never even opened half this stuff. That's the Instagram impulse buy collection. All of it goes." The bedroom closet was its own expedition. She'd somehow taken over 70% of my closet space without me fully realizing it. Dresses I'd never seen her wear, still with tags attached. Shoes organized by season and color. An entire section dedicated to workout clothes for workouts that never happened. We packed it all methodically, labeling every box with detailed contents lists, because even in the middle of revenge, I couldn't help being organized. Her bathroom products alone filled 6 medium-sized boxes. Shampoos, conditioners, body scrubs, face masks, serums, toners, moisturizers, hair masks, leave-in treatments, and about 40 different bottles I couldn't even identify. Each one went into boxes wrapped carefully, so nothing would leak or break. I dated a girl once who had maybe 10 products total, Liam said, staring at the bathroom counter we'd just cleared. This is actually insane. Welcome to my life for the past 8 months. The living room was where her decorative takeover really showed. Those 40 throw pillows we'd joked about? Actual count was 53. 53 throw pillows. We found them on the couch, on chairs, in closets, under the bed. Each one got packed into garbage bags and labeled. Kitchen was another battlefield. She'd slowly replaced my practical cooking stuff with aesthetic pieces that looked good but worked poorly. Copper pots that couldn't go in the dishwasher. Matching containers for flour and sugar that were too small to be useful. A bread box that took up counter space for no reason. Decorative cutting boards that were too pretty to actually cut on. All of it packed and removed. By 4 p.m., we'd filled an entire truck. By 6 p.m. Friday, every trace of Natalie was boxed up and loaded. My place looked like it did before she moved in, minus some furniture I'd bought specifically because she wanted it. A decorative entryway table I never needed. Some accent chairs that were uncomfortable but looked sophisticated. A coffee table that was too low to be functional. I kept it all because selling furniture wasn't worth the hassle, but everything that was distinctly hers was gone. The locksmith showed up at 2 p.m. as scheduled and spent 90 minutes changing every lock. Front door, back door, garage, even the gate to the backyard. New keys, new locks, new security codes for the alarm system. If she tried to use her old key, she'd find herself very locked out. Saturday morning, I drove to her parents' house 2 counties over. Her dad, Robert, answered the door. "Hey, Sam, what brings you by? Natalie didn't mention you were coming." "That's actually what I need to talk to you about." "Is your wife home?" They both sat down in their living room while I explained everything. Showed them the screenshots of the texts, the documented lies, the cabin trip that was really a romantic getaway with Blake. Her mom, Linda, started crying. Her dad just got quiet, which was somehow scarier. "She's still at this cabin?" Robert asked. "Should be back tomorrow evening." "Where's her stuff?" "In a climate-controlled storage unit I rented under her name. Paid for 3 months up front. Unit number 247, here's the key and the paperwork. Everything she owns is safely stored there." Linda wiped her eyes. "You didn't just throw her stuff out?" "No, ma'am, I'm not that guy. Everything is packed carefully, organized, and waiting for her. I'm not trying to destroy her life. I'm just removing her from mine." Robert stood up and shook my hand. "You're better than I would have been. Appreciate you doing this the right way." I handed him the storage unit key and all the relevant paperwork. "She's going to need somewhere to stay when she gets back. Figured you'd want a heads up." "She can come here," Linda said quietly. "We'll figure something out." I left feeling oddly peaceful. The hard part was done. Now I just had to wait for the fireworks. Sunday afternoon around 4 p.m., I sent a single text to Natalie. "Your belongings are in storage unit 247 at Secure Space Storage on Wilson Road. Paid through November. Key and paperwork are with your parents. Don't contact me again." Then I blocked her number, blocked her on every social media platform, and settled in to wait. The voicemail started at 4:47 p.m. Since I'd blocked her number, they went straight to voicemail without ringing. I didn't check them immediately. Wanted to let her stew for a while, really feel the full weight of consequences. Made myself dinner, steak and roasted vegetables, poured a glass of iced tea, and sat down to watch a movie I'd been meaning to catch up on. By 9 p.m. Sunday, she'd left 17 voicemails. 17. I finally decided to listen to them, and honestly, they were better than any movie I could have watched. Voicemail 1, 4:47 p.m., confused and annoyed. "Sam, what the heck? I got your text. What do you mean my stuff is in storage? Is this some kind of joke? Call me back right now." Voicemail 2, 4:53 p.m., still confused. "Seriously, this isn't funny. I don't understand what's happening. Just picked up Blake and he's asking what's wrong. Call me back." Voicemail 3:05:02 p.m., getting angry. "Okay, seriously, this isn't funny. I just tried my key and it doesn't work. Did you change the locks? Sam, answer your phone right now. This is ridiculous." Voicemail 4:05:18 p.m., panic starting. "Blake just left. This is really messed up, Sam. You can't just lock me out of my own home. Where am I supposed to go? I have work tomorrow. Voicemail 5:29 p.m. Crying now. Please pick up. Please. I don't understand why you're doing this. We can talk about whatever's bothering you. Just let me come home. Voicemail 6:34 p.m. Anger mixed with tears. You have no right to do this. This is my home too. You can't just kick me out without warning. This is illegal, Sam. I'm calling the police. Voicemail 7:51 p.m. Defeated. The police said you're allowed to do this because I don't have a lease. How is that possible? I live there. That's my home. Voicemail 8:11 p.m. Desperate. The police said you didn't do anything illegal because I don't have a lease and I've only been there 8 months. How could you do this? Where am I supposed to go? I have work tomorrow and all my clothes are gone. Voicemail 9:48 p.m. Bargaining. Okay, I know you must have found out about Blake somehow. I can explain everything. It's not what you think. Can we please just talk about this face to face? Like adults? Voicemail 10:23 p.m. More crying. Sam, please, can we just talk about this like adults? I know I messed up, but you're overreacting. We can work through this. Please let me come home. I'm sitting in a parking lot with nowhere to go. Voicemail 7:45 p.m. Trying anger again. You know what? This is actually psychotic behavior. Going through my phone, stalking my messages, kicking me out without warning. You're not the victim here, Sam. You're controlling and toxic. Voicemail 7:58 p.m. Back to desperate. I'm sorry. I didn't mean that. I'm just scared and confused. Please call me back. Please. Voicemail 8:01 p.m. Bargaining again. I'll end things with Blake. It was stupid. You were right. I got caught up in something that didn't mean anything. Please just let me explain in person. I love you. I made a mistake, but we can fix this. Voicemail 8:29 p.m. Resignation. I'm at my parents' house now. They're not happy. They want to know what happened. What am I supposed to tell them? Voicemail 8:44 p.m. Quiet and broken. I'm at my parents' house now. They showed me the screenshots you sent them. Sam, it wasn't what it looked like. Those texts were taken out of context. Blake was just being friendly, and I was too nice to shut it down. Please believe me. Voicemail 9:03 p.m. Trying one more time. My mom is crying. My dad won't even look at me. You sent them screenshots of private conversations, and now my entire family thinks I'm some terrible person. How could you do that? Voicemail 9:17 p.m. Finally defeated. I don't know what else to say. You won't answer. You won't talk to me. I have to figure out my entire life now because you decided to be cruel. I hope you're happy with yourself. You ruined everything over a misunderstanding. Blake and I were just friends, and you turned it into this whole thing. I hope you're proud. I saved every single voicemail, backed them up just like the texts. Then I made myself dinner, watched a movie, and slept better than I had in months. Monday morning, I woke up to 32 text messages from her friend Jessica, who apparently got my number from Natalie and thought I needed to hear about what a horrible person I was. Blocked. Tuesday, I got an email from her work account saying she'd made a mistake and wanted to discuss things rationally. Deleted without responding. Wednesday, her mom called from her phone. I answered that one. Sam, it's Linda. Please don't hang up. I'm listening. Natalie is beside herself. She knows she messed up. She's willing to do anything to fix this. Linda, I appreciate you trying to help your daughter, but there's nothing to fix. She made her choices. Now she's living with them. I'm done. She says Blake wasn't what she thought he was, that the cabin trip was a mistake and she realized she wanted to be with you. Translation, Blake probably got what he wanted and lost interest. Now she wants to come back to her backup plan. Hard pass. Silence on the other end. You deserve better than this, Linda. So do I. Tell Natalie to move on with her life. I already have. I hung up and blocked that number too. The real entertainment came from social media before I locked everything down completely. Natalie had posted a vague status about toxic relationships and not recognizing red flags until it's too late. Her friends jumped in with support, saying she deserved better, that she dodged a bullet, all the standard breakup nonsense. What they didn't know was I'd already sent screenshots to 3 of her closest friends showing exactly what happened. The comment section shifted real quick. One of her friends, Michelle, commented, "Girl, I saw the receipts. You cheated and got caught. Take the L and move on." Another mutual acquaintance. Maybe don't cheat on guys who treat you well and then play victim when there are consequences. Natalie deleted the entire post within an hour. Blake, meanwhile, had apparently ghosted her after the cabin weekend. Shocker. Turns out guys who help girls cheat aren't looking for serious relationships. Who could have predicted that? According to Liam, who heard from someone who heard from someone who worked at the dental office, Blake had tried this same move with 2 other women at previous jobs. Serial workplace romance guy who gets bored once the chase is over. Natalie was just his latest conquest. The cabin had apparently gone fine from Blake's perspective. He got what he wanted. But by Monday morning, when Natalie was blowing up his phone about relationship plans, and when they'd tell people at work, he'd gone ice cold. The grapevine said he told her the cabin was just a fun weekend, and she'd read too much into things. Classic move. She'd blown up her entire living situation, destroyed a stable relationship, and lost the backup plan. All for a guy who saw her as a weekend conquest. The dental office became so awkward that she couldn't handle showing up to work, seeing him every day acting like nothing had happened while she was living in her childhood bedroom, dealing with the aftermath. She'd quit her job at the dental office by the end of September. Couldn't handle working with Blake after he made it clear the cabin was a one-time thing. Moved back in with her parents while she figured out her life. 2 months later, November, I was at the grocery store when I ran into Blake himself at the checkout line. He recognized me immediately, got this uncomfortable look on his face. The kind of look people get when they're caught doing something they know is wrong but thought they'd gotten away with. Sam, right? Listen, man, about what happened. Save it. Not interested. He shifted his weight, looked around like he was hoping someone would interrupt this conversation. I just wanted to say it wasn't personal. She came on to me, and that's when I actually turned to face him fully. Looked him dead in the eye. You know what the funniest part is? You thought you won something, but all you got was a cheater who's now unemployed and living with her parents. Congrats on that prize. His face went red. Started to say something, then stopped. Opened his mouth again, nothing came out. Also, for the record, she didn't come on to you. I saw the texts. You pursued her for months. Told her I was holding her back. Convinced her to throw away a stable relationship for what? A weekend at your cabin? How's that working out for you now that she wants an actual relationship, and you're stuck seeing her desperation every day at work? She quit, he muttered. Smart move on her part. Hard to face the guy who used you as a disposable weekend toy. I grabbed my groceries. Enjoy your day, Blake. Left him standing there at the checkout, his frozen dinners and energy drinks sitting in his cart like a monument to his lifestyle choices. December rolled around and Liam threw his annual Christmas party. I brought Jenna, the woman I'd been casually seeing for about 6 weeks. Accountant, owned her own condo, had her life together. We were keeping things light, but it was working. Halfway through the party, my phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. I heard you moved on already. Hope she knows what kind of person you really are. I showed it to Liam. Natalie found a way around the blocking. What are you gonna do? I typed back a single message. Already told your parents everything. Already showed your friends the receipts. Already got you out of my life. Whatever story you're telling yourself to sleep at night, tell it to someone who cares. Then I blocked that number too and went back to the party. January hit and I got the promotion at work I'd been angling for. 15% raise, better title, my own team to manage. Celebrated by finally upgrading my home gym setup like I'd been planning. That same week, Jessica, the friend who'd blown up my phone back in September, sent me a friend request on social media with a message attached. Hey Sam, I owe you an apology. Natalie told me a completely different version of what happened. Found out the truth from Michelle who saw your screenshots. You handled that situation with way more class than most guys would. Hope you're doing well. I accepted the request, but didn't respond to the message. Some things don't need a response. February brought the real kicker. Liam called me on a Saturday morning, laughing so hard he could barely talk. Dude, you're not gonna believe this. Remember Blake? Unfortunately, he just got fired from that coffee startup. Turns out he was pulling the same workplace romance nonsense there, and someone finally reported him to HR. Company did an investigation, found a pattern going back years, canned him on the spot. Karma's efficient. Gets better. Natalie found out through the dental office grapevine and apparently tried to reach out to him. Probably thought they could bond over their mutual bad luck or something. He told her to lose his number and stop living in the past. I couldn't help but laugh. So the guy who convinced her to blow up her life for him won't even take her calls now. Poetic justice, man. March brought an unexpected visitor to my door. Robert, Natalie's dad, showed up on a Sunday afternoon. Sam, got a minute? I let him in, offered him something to drink. We sat in my living room, the same room where his daughter had told me she was taking Blake to Christmas dinner instead of me. Natalie doesn't know I'm here, Robert started. Linda and I wanted you to know she's been seeing a counselor, working through some things. That's good. Everyone should probably see a counselor at some point. She finally admitted what really happened. The whole thing with Blake, how she'd been lying to you for months. Took her this long to stop making excuses. Okay. Robert looked around the room. You've got a good life here, Sam. Don't let what she did make you cynical about relationships. I'm not cynical, just more selective. He nodded, stood up, shook my hand. You're a good man. Take care of yourself. After he left, I called Jenna. You busy? Want to grab dinner? Thought you'd never ask. Pick me up in an hour? See you then. By the time April rolled around, the whole Natalie situation felt like ancient history. My tenant in the rental unit renewed their lease for another year. Work was going great. Jenna and I were still keeping things casual but steady. I was at Home Depot one Saturday afternoon, picking up supplies to build new shelving for my garage, when I saw Natalie 3 aisles over looking at paint samples. She saw me at the exact same time. For about 5 seconds, we just stood there, both of us probably calculating if we could pretend we didn't see each other. She walked over first. Sam, Natalie, you look good. Healthy. Thanks. You too. Awkward silence. I'm getting my own apartment finally, she said, gesturing at the paint samples. Moving out of my parents' place next month. That's good. Congrats. I wanted to apologize. For real this time, not the panicked voicemails. I screwed up everything we had chasing something that was never real. I set down the lumber I was holding. I appreciate you saying that. I don't expect you to forgive me or want me back or anything. I just needed you to know I understand what I did wrong. Okay. Are you seeing anyone? Yeah. Been dating someone for a few months. It's going well. She nodded, trying to keep her face neutral. Good. You deserve someone who appreciates you. I do. And I found her. We stood there for another awkward beat. Well, I should get going, she said. Take care of yourself, Sam. You too, Natalie. I watched her walk away, paint samples still in her hand, looking smaller somehow than I remembered. Grabbed my lumber, paid, loaded up the Explorer, and drove home. Guys, we are so close to hit 100,000 subscribers on this channel. If you are not subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing. It really helps hit that 100,000 mark. Thanks for making this dream come true.